issue going on in Oklahoma where the Satanists have unveiled a statue for the Oklahoma Capitol. You may have followed this story some. There is a Ten Commandments monument that's in the state capitol, posted there in 2012, or erected there in 2012, and it's on the grounds of the state capitol. So the Satanists came and said, look, if they get to have their Ten Commandments monument as a part of their religion, then we want to have our idol, our satanic idol, our idol of this goat god, this demon goat god, we want to have him on display in the state capitol. After all, you cannot discriminate on the basis of religion. Your religion is to worship the God who is revealed in the Bible. Our religion is to worship the Prince of Darkness. That's what we're about. That's what our religion is about. We have sacred services. We have sacred rituals. We send out curses instead of you guys send out blessings. We send out curses. But it's just all the same. We're appealing to these supernatural powers. It's our religion. We want our goat god, our demon goat god. You get to have your Ten Commandments. We get to have Satan right there in the Oklahoma State Capitol. Now, I've talked about this before, but this gets back again to the meaning of the word religion in the First Amendment, because that's what the Satanists are pinning their whole case on. Their whole case is rooted on the fact that the First Amendment guarantees the free exercise of religion. This is our religion. Worshiping Satan, that's our religion. We have the right, according to the Constitution, to the free exercise of religion. You can't give a monument to Christians and not give one to us, because that would be improper and unconstitutional discrimination. So we are right back, ladies and gentlemen, to focusing on the meaning of the word religion in the First Amendment. I mentioned this before, but I'm going to go over it again. And the reason is I want you to be the most informed, literate, equipped, educated audience in all of conservative talk radio. When these issues come up, I want you to be ready. I want you to have this stuff emblazoned on your brain. Now, again, this has to do with the meaning of the word religion in the First Amendment. Now, if by religion the founders meant any system of belief whatsoever in any supernatural power, then I honestly don't know how legally you can deny the Satanists their goat god. I mean, how do you do it? On what basis do you deny them the opportunity to put up their idol of Satan right there in the state capitol in Oklahoma? How do you do it? If religion means any system of belief in supernatural powers, and that's protected by the First Amendment, then they get to put up their demon goat god. I mean, I don't see how you stop them legally, frankly. Now, maybe there's a way, but I have an idea that courts are going to wind up fighting against them because of the way in which the First Amendment has been mangled by the courts. Now, as I've talked with you before, what the founders were talking about when they used the word religion in the First Amendment is Christianity. That's all they were talking about. Now, I've made this very clear. They weren't prohibiting other religions, but they were not protecting them either. They just weren't even talking about them at all. They weren't dealing with Islam. They weren't dealing with Judaism. They weren't dealing with atheism. They weren't dealing with Satanism. All they were dealing with was Christianity, and they had a very specific purpose in the First Amendment to protect the free exercise of the Christian religion and to exclude any rivalry among the various Christian denominations by making it impossible, by prohibiting Congress from picking one Christian denomination and making it the official church of the United States. Joseph Story was the longest-serving Associate Justice in Supreme Court history. Joseph Story, appointed to the bench by James Madison, the father of the Constitution. So if either James Madison or Joseph Story or both had some idea what they were doing, then I think this is a very credible source. And he wrote the definitive history of the Constitution in around 1840. And here's what he said. The real object of the First Amendment, listen to this. This is the longest serving Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. The real object of the First Amendment was not to countenance, that is to deal with, to face, to encounter, to consider. We weren't even considering anything. The founders weren't, he says. The real object of the First Amendment was not to countenance, much less to advance Mohammedanism or Judaism or infidelity by prostrating Christianity, but to exclude all rivalry among Christian sects, because they would start angling to become the official established church of the United States of America. So the First Amendment, it doesn't prohibit other religions. It doesn't protect them. It just does not deal with them at all. Well, whose job is it then if the federal government can't do it? Whose responsibility is it to deal with these other religions? Well, according to the founders, that was left to the states. That was the responsibility of the states to regulate religious expression. They could do it any way they wanted. Thomas Jefferson said no power to prescribe any religious exercise or to assume authority in religious discipline has been delegated to the general government. It must then rest with the states. So in other words, according to the founders, if Oklahoma doesn't want a statue to Satan in their capital, they don't have to have it. Back in 2.